All right, colleagues. So I'm also going to mute everyone so that we do not have any unwanted disturbances. And if you have a question, you can raise your hand to ask the questions. So parents, again, good morning. We have, first of all, let me just, before I get to the meat of the matter in terms of the items, well, it's really a one item agenda meeting, but just since as you're here, let me just give a few other pieces of information. First of all, I'm reminding parents that the students, excepting those going into grade 11, they should have handed in their textbooks that they used this school year. So all the textbooks that were issued this school year, you need to return them so that the students who are going into the grade you are leaving can get those textbooks to use. So I know there are a number of students, especially students from grade 7 going to grade 8 and grade 9 going to grade 10. We need those books to be returned. So please, if your child has not yet returned the books, please ask them to do so. Well, they could come in today or when the country reopens on Wednesday, please return those books. In terms of registration, we would have started registration next week, Monday, but we are going to delay the registration period. We will inform you of when it is that you should come in for registration, but we'll delay based on the lockdowns that have been announced. Now, the matter at hand that we want to use a few moments this morning to discuss, that is the issue of vaccination for our students. You are here, so it means that you would have seen the correspondence that was circulated, and you probably would have heard the pronouncements from the Minister of Education yesterday, as well as the Prime Minister regarding vaccination. But just for summary, the government has now decided that they will be allowing students aged 12 to 18 to be vaccinated. However, they are going to be focusing over this weekend on students who are going into grades 10, 11, or sixth form, grade 10, 11, or 12, or 13. That will be the focus this weekend, along with students who may not be going into those grades, but who may have comorbidities, and their doctors have decided that they should take the vaccine to protect them in case they contract the virus. So we want to discuss this morning the arrangements that have been put in place, and also to discuss with parents any issues or concerns they may have as to whether or not the students their children should take the vaccine. Let me declare upfront, because I want to declare my status, because obviously as the principal, I am going to have a particular view, and I want you to understand that my views may be biased based on how I see things. So I am fully vaccinated. I would have taken the vaccine the first opportunity I got. I took my second dose a week early because I was going to be traveling, and I wanted to ensure that I was fully vaccinated. So I actually asked permission to go ahead before the time came so that I could get my second dose. My wife is vaccinated, all my brothers and sisters, and my father, all of whom live in, well, not all, many of them who live in different countries, England, Bahamas, the USA, they are all vaccinated. So that is my status. And therefore, obviously, if that is the stance I have taken for myself, it means that I'm going to have a particular bias in the discussion. So please bear that in mind when you hear me saying things that you may not agree with. Also, just to say that the position that the ministry has taken now is that they want school to reopen for face-to-face classes, but before that, all classes will resume on September 6th online. So there'll be virtual classes come September 6th. By mid-October, the ministry is hoping that students will start returning to classes for face-to-face activities. However, they are saying that the only students who are fully vaccinated by then will be allowed to do face-to-face classes. Students who are not vaccinated will have to remain online for classes. So bearing those things in mind, I want to open the floor for discussions as to whether or not or what parents' position are on the students taking the vaccine. I have sent out a a Google form. Let me try and share it with you. I've sent out a Google form outlining giving you options to indicate whether or not you would be interested in taking the vaccine. And as such, I am I'm going to just share with you where we are so far with that in terms of how many persons have indicated and what their stance is on the taking of the vaccine. Again, I won't share anybody's name or anything like that. I'll just use the chart to show you what the responses have been so far. Just to say that the vaccines will be done across health centers across the parish. The main vaccination site for the state students will be at Santa Cruz Center, but we are trying to make our arrangements with the health department for students to simply go to the locations which is near the health center that is nearest to them, so that they can so that they don't have to travel to Santa Cruz if they are not living in or around Santa Cruz, right? So as I said before, the form is out for you to indicate whether or not you are taking the vaccine and where is the nearest health center to you, so that we can make arrangements for you rather than having to go and wait all day. If I have a list, I can just send it to the health department to say that these 30 state students will be coming to Black River or to Newell or to Magati or to Balaclava Health Center, and we're asking for a time for them to come so that they can do the vaccines, right? So if you are interested in having your child take the vaccine, I'm asking you to complete the form so that I can get the information to share with the health department. So far, I've had 60 responses, 20 students in sixth form, 10 in grade 10, sorry, 20 in grade 10, and 20 students in grade 11. So 60 persons have responded so far. Of the 60, 59 say they will take the vaccine. One say they will not take the vaccine. So I'm going to just ask that as many of you as possible, just complete the form, whether or not you're going to take it, just complete the form so that we know the numbers that we're working with, and we can make arrangement for it to be easier for you to attend. Remember that for students who are under 18, when they go to take the vaccine, the parent will have to go with them, right? And the parent would have to take their birth certificate of their child along with the ID card for the parent. So that is the stipulation. If you're going to get your child vaccinated and the child is under 18, then you have to accompany the child. You have to take the child's birth certificate along with your ID for the child. All right. So I see some hands are up, so let me just go right to the hands. Starting with Altia.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm going to take my my son, but I'll be getting it done here in Mandem because I work at the hospital, sir.
Okay. Okay, good.
But I filled out the form anyway.
Right, great. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. But I'll take him. I'll get through easier here because I work here.
Yes.
So I'll take him to get it done tomorrow.
Great. Right. So yes, that is what we're trying to do. Rather than having all the students coming to Santa Cruz just to take the vaccine, when there's a health center near you, we are saying,
Yes,
I've already said to the ministry, I have a meeting with the ministry at 11, but I've already said it to them, and I've already spoken to the health department. So what if you complete the form, and I get the names of the students, I just email it to them this evening.
Yes, sir.
Where there are multiple days, we can decide which days the state students should go in at those centers, and they do the vaccination there. Right, so which will make it a lot easier rather than you just go and join a long line, have to wait 3-4 hours. All right?
Okay, sir.
All right.
Because I really want him to get it, sir, because he's way behind, and it's his last year this year, so.
Yes, and I agree with you, and I support you. The online
I
classes.
did mine, sir. I got my 2 shots, and I'm okay. I'm doing fine.
Thank you. Thank you, Althea.
Yes, sir. You're welcome.
Nathaniel, you can unmute and go ahead.
Good morning, Mr. Wellington.
Good morning.
This is Nathaniel mother.
Okay.
For Nathaniel would have to use the Duncan's Door Health Center.
Yes.
Is that would be possible for him?
Yes, man. If you go, you live near Duncan's, just go
Yes,
there. The
sir.
problem, I don't have contact with them, but it is possible for you to just go to Duncan's and tell him that you're a student at STETHS, take his ID. Nathaniel is not yet 18, so you have to go with him, right? So
Yes,
ask
sir.
Nathaniel to take, he can either take his CHAMPS ID, his ISA ID,
Yes.
or his school ID to show that he's a student. Or you take your ID and his birth certificate.
Okay, because it doesn't fill out the form as yet because I didn't know what was gonna said this morning, or if he have to go to Santa Cruz.
No, he can go to Duncan's, but fill it out still and put Santa Cruz on it, here.
Okay, sir.
All right, good.
Thank you very much.
Welcome. And Natalia is an athlete, right? So I just want to say, I know there are persons with concern. The Olympians who went to the Olympics, they got their vaccination. The players who are playing World Cup football, they got vaccinated as well. So we know that there are persons with concerns, but we know that there are many persons, a lot more persons. Well, many persons have taken the vaccine, and we know that there are more persons who have gotten ill who have not taken the vaccine than there are persons who have taken the vaccine and gotten ill. But if you have concerns, please feel free to raise them so that we can discuss it, right? Selena.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Wellington.
Good morning.
Okay, so my concern is, one, I am not there. So I'm wondering, the guardian should be able to take their ID along with
You're abroad
also?
You're abroad?
Yes. Yeah.
Right, that's a good question. I am not the person who is going to answer the question, but I am going to get an answer for the question for you. Because if the parents or guardian is not living here, then we need to, how old is the child?
He's 16.
16, all right. So I'll ask that question when we meet at 11 this morning, and I post it in the various groups as to what the guidelines should be, right? So maybe they have to get a letter from a JP to say that so-and-so is the guardian of the child. All right, but I'll ask the question. Okay. I'll ask the question when we meet today.
Okay, second question I have, he lost his ID, so is it okay to take along his passport?
Yes, that's all right. Any form of ID, government ID is fine.
Okay, thanks.
All right, thank you. Eugenia.
Mr. Wellington,
yes, good morning. Good morning.
My daughter is going into 10th grade, but she's not in the she's not 15 yet. But she has a comorbidity. Should I still take her? Because I wanted to find out if I should take her. I would need something from the doctor to show that she has comorbidity.
All right, so two things. If the child is not yet 15 and turns up and says that they are in grade 10, they will still give them the vaccine. So that's not going to be an issue. But I support the point. I would go along with the way you are thinking to just get the letter because she has the comorbidity. Just get the doctor to say that she has a comorbidity and they are recommending that she takes the vaccine. And she's a grade 10 student at STETHS.
Okay, thank you.
All right, great. Carry on.
Good morning, Mr. Wellington.
Morning.
My concern is there's a lot of things circled on the internet about the vaccine, and I have like a real shake-up thing about it because I am not taking it.
Yes.
And Sean don't want to take it. And I'm saying if he does not take it by now and by October, what's the outstanding of it?
All right.
Has he been back to school?
All right. So again, let me just repeat. Right now, the government is saying that based on what's happening with the virus, they cannot allow people to gather who are not vaccinated. So they are offering the students the vaccines. If students do not take it, they will not be allowed to come to school face-to-face. They will have to continue doing their classes online. Those students who take the vaccine, then they will be allowed to come to school face to face. So I remember, as it is now, the law long before COVID was that students cannot be admitted in school unless they are fully immunized and they have their birth certificates. So I think that what the government is saying is that they are now insisting that that law be applied, where if you are not fully immunized, you cannot attend school face to face. So you will be allowed to have your classes, but those classes will be online, right? Now, I know that there are challenges. Nobody needs to tell me. I see it every day. There are challenges with the online classes, and students are really not performing at their best online. But if you make a choice as to whether or not you get vaccine, that is one of the cost that you will have to pay. I understand that there is a concern amongst some persons, and everybody must be free to make their own choice. But again, as I said at the outset, having taken the vaccine myself and having had all my family members taking the vaccine, and by the way, my wife was hesitant about taking the vaccine as well, so she did not take it when I went and took it. So I did not force her or anything like that to take it. I decided it's my choice, and I decided to take it. She decided that she wanted to wait and see what happened to me. And so she waited until I got both my doses, and then she went and got hers, right? So I understand the position that persons are in, and I would never, ever force anyone to do it, but I would always encourage my own understanding, right? My own understanding of the situation, understanding of the vaccine, understanding of the consequences of not taking the vaccine, right? Is that it is better you take the vaccine, right? So I am not going to tell anybody that the vaccine is the perfect solution to all the problems that we're having, but I think that it is a much, 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 much better solution than being unvaccinated, right? So I understand the concern, but if you really can't find a real reason as to why you should not take it, I would say brave up. The odds are better if you take the vaccine, so go and take it. Because if you can't explain why you're not going to take it, if you don't have any proof as to why you should not take it, then I would suggest that everything else says that the person who takes it is much better off than the one who doesn't, right? So if you can't find a solid reason not to take it, then I would say go and take it. It's like a bulletproof vest. We are in war right now. We're really in war with COVID. And when persons are at war, when they go with a bulletproof vest, right? Because they know that the bulletproof vest will protect them. It doesn't mean that if they can't still get shot. You can have on your bulletproof vest and you still get shot, but you are more likely to die if the shot shoots you in your head away from the bulletproof vest. And even when you have on the bulletproof vest, you can get shot in the bulletproof vest and you can still get hurt. But if you have on the vest, the shooter will have to aim at your head, right? So I would rather go to war with the bulletproof vest and force the shooter to shoot at my head rather than shooting at my heart and killing me, right? And I know that even though I have on the bulletproof vest, I still have to try and avoid getting shot. And I know that I can get shot in the vest and something happens with the vest and I am killed, but that is not going to stop me from putting on the bulletproof vest, all right? So I am encouraging all the parents and all the students, take the vaccine. Not forcing anybody, but I think it is a better option than not taking the vaccine. Right, Karen?
So it is a part of, they make it a part of the immunization now?
I didn't, you cracked up a while ago, Karen.
Mr. Wellington?
Yes? Who said Mr. Wellington? Karen, you cracked up. Can you repeat the question?
So they make the vaccine a part of the immunization now?
Well, the vaccine, remember, all the immunization, everything that you get, the things you get for rubella, measles, mumps, polio, all of those are vaccines. So this is another vaccine. This is another vaccine. They have not made it compulsory, right? They have not made it compulsory because what the law says, right? The vaccines that are compulsory, I think you have to take them before you are 7 years old. So as a parent, when you have your child in the hospital, they start vaccinating the child from that age, right? And they tell you that you have to come back at this month time, 5 months time. But what they are saying now is that in order to come to school face to face, you must take the COVID vaccine, at least for the time being. All right? So if you don't take it, they are saying that you can't come to face-to-face school. Except in, I think, for the primary school students, I think they are trying to work out what they do with them because there's no vaccine for children under 12 years old.
Yeah, but
right?
I still have a seat, and I think they does not have enough time to develop it as I feel it should be developed, and I feel like they should not depress parents by putting that on them.
All right, you're cracking up, but let me answer your question before I move to the next person. Again, this thing about not having enough time to develop the vaccine, it is rubbish. Sorry, that it is not true that there isn't enough time to develop the vaccine, right? He's in. Right? It is not true. The way technology is now, everybody knows that things have changed. One time it used to take what, 6 or whatever time it used to take a yam a hill to grow. That time has been cut down significantly. One time your mango tree only used to bear X amount of mango at a specific time. That has changed as well. So technology has changed every single thing. The COVID virus is not a new virus, right? The COVID virus is a virus that has been around for more than 20 years. And the vaccine has been in development for a long time. What has happened is that this new variant is something that caught us almost off guard, but not fully off guard, right? But what they have been able to do is to apply the technology that they had before, that they have been developing for the SARS virus for a long time, and they have now applied it, right? What they have not been able to do is to test it over the long periods that they normally use to test vaccines. That is where the difference is. But as I said, when they test vaccine, they test it on human beings, you know, right? People volunteer to test vaccines. And I'm saying, no, I prefer to have them test it on me now, right? Based on where we are, than to have COVID test how strong it is on me now. It's as simple as that, right? I don't want anybody to catch COVID, right? I know there's somebody here, right, who has had COVID and is in the hospital from May, and if the person wasn't somebody who had enough funds, they would have died long ago. And I know, since week alone, I know colleague principals who have lost their husbands. All the thing we're talking about, the vaccine, what is it that it has done that has caused us all these concerns? But anyway, I move on. Blossom, you can unmute.
Good morning. Are you hearing me?
Yes,
I'm hearing everybody. Mr. Wellington, I am fully vaccinated, right?
Yes.
And I signed up the form for my son to take the vaccine.
Yes.
But, you know, he is so scared for the face-to-face. And to be honest, I am kind of skeptical about the face-to-face, even though I'm going to let him do it. And as I said, I'm fully vaccinated already. So that is just you understand my instinct on it, to be honest. When he come onto the face-to-face, really, and he's very nervous coming back face-to-face, even though he's going to take it. So
which grade is he going into?
That's where I'm at right now. He's going into grade 10.
Okay, good. All right, so that's not so bad. But I think we as a school, we have done exceptionally well in terms of how we have been able to organize our operations and to keep people safe. So the biggest concern I have would have been with the transportation, because I think that is still the biggest problem, the biggest issue with spreading of the virus, people who take in public transportation. So I can tell you that last year we spent almost $5 million just to get students. Those students who came to school during the period, is almost $5 million for buses to come to school. Because I personally felt that if we wanted to keep our students safe, we needed to keep them away from the general public. So I understand his concern, but we are whatever we are doing, we are trying to make sure that it is safe for our kids. And if they get vaccinated, then that would be even better because it offers that extra protection. All right. But tell him he has all right to be scared. He has all right to be scared. And if he's scared, that means he just needs to be more careful. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, Bassam.
Okay. You're welcome, Mr. Wellington.
Monica. Monica.
Yeah, yes, Mr. Wellington. Good morning.
Good morning.
I have some question. Would I be having under 16 football this year?
We are planning to. We are planning to have both under 16 and the Costa Cup.
And the members would have to be vaccinated.
Well, at this point, based on what is happening, it is very likely that that will be a criteria.
All right. My next question. I noticed the ministry says vaccination for every students. There are many of our students who would have had the virus and would have had some form of antibodies developed. Are they planning to test these children first? And I think that is the way they should go. UK has done that. And I think Jamaica should have tested these kids and see
for the antibodies.
Yes. And
that's a good point. Good point, Monica. That's the second point I will raise in our meeting today, because that's a good point.
And if I can prove that my child has antibodies, will he be prevented from coming to school without a vaccination card?
So that's the third question that I will ask. Obviously, I can't answer that question.
Okay.
Right.
So that is my little piece.
Right. I'll ask those questions. So I've made note of it. So 3 questions. 1, the parent or guardian not there. If the parent not there, can guardian take the child? 2, will they be testing for antibodies? And 3, if the child has the antibodies present, do they still need to be vaccinated? I'll ask. All right.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Good. Roxanne. Roxanne, you can go ahead and unmute and speak.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's not a question for me, Mr. Wellington, but more of encouraging, and encourage has become the word of the day, revaccinations. When the vaccination idea was just realized in Jamaica, I myself had serious reservations. And I want to encourage everyone on this call to be careful of what you choose to listen to and what you choose to follow. Vaccinations are not new. The same effects that we have as adults taking this vaccination, we do this to our children when they're in their very small stage. We still give them the Panadol, they still have the shivers, they have fevers. That's normal. I am from the BPO industry, and I just want to share. I think the BPO industry is one that we can align somewhat to a school setting where you have a lot of persons in one localized area. On Sunday, I had an agent who was feeling or exhibiting COVID symptoms. She went and get tested. She was positive. We had to start doing our own contact tracing. And on Sunday morning, we had like 3 persons in a short span of time who were tested positive. What I realized, persons who we encouraged to take the vaccine, and they were most vocal about not taking the vaccine, when they heard of their colleagues being positive, then they all went into a frenzy and everybody gets very concerned. What I encourage, instead of, as a nation, as parent body, instead of us being in a reactive state, we need to be very proactive at this point in time. The reality is COVID is here. The reality is we don't have all the answers. And so we have to get into that mode of assessing information. I don't understand why social media has become the biggest teacher, and it's very unfortunate. But if I am going to get my child vaccinated, that's for sure. And I would not want him to be in a schoolroom with unvaccinated children. I take the same stance at work. I don't go on the production floor because persons just fail to get vaccinated. We just need to educate ourselves, and the sooner we do that and start, just trying to move along, it's the better we will be as a country. It is serious, I get it. Persons will be concerned, I get it. I was too. I took the vaccine myself. I am fine, I'm moving about. I don't drop my guard, I still wear my mask, I still do the necessary sanitization. But we have to understand that if as parents, persons are going to say, they don't want their child to get it, you can't expect your child to be going out where other persons who are taking the precautionary measures or the added precautionary measures. We just can't allow. I don't want my child to be exposed at this point in time. And so I am in support of what the ministry and by extension, what Mr. Wellington has been sharing here.
Thank you very much, very timely, and I appreciate the concern. It is a very valid concern. Somebody posted that, somebody suggested that somebody's just raised a point, that the point you made suggests that only the unvaccinated can pass the virus along. So I know I didn't hear that from Roxanne, but let me just make the point that if you have been vaccinated, you can still pass the virus along, right? So that is not an issue. The issue we have, right, is that if you are not vaccinated, right, you are at greater risk of not just passing the virus, but of catching the virus. So if there are 3 of us in the room who are all vaccinated, we can still pass the virus, but it is harder for us to pass the virus to each other. If there are 2 of us who are vaccinated and 1 is unvaccinated, the person who is unvaccinated, first of all, is more likely to catch the virus and therefore suffer. And secondly, he's more likely to be carrying the virus away to somebody else. And there's something called the virus load, the viral load. The person who is unvaccinated is going to carry a heavier viral load. And therefore, that person is not just only at greater risk to him or herself, but is also creating greater risk to others, including the persons who are vaccinated. All right? I remember I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical personnel, but I try not to speak on something that I do not understand. Anne?
Good morning, Mr. Wellington. Good morning, everyone. I am fully vaccinated, and I'm sure I'll be taking Habiba to do hers tomorrow because she's on the chat team, and I want to make sure that everything's up and running for her.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. Carry on.
Good morning, Mr. Wellington. Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. I have a concern. I have a son just coming into first form, and then my daughter, she would be going into fourth form. No, sir, I'm deeply concerned. Both of my kids have comorbidity, and so do I. My daughter has severe bronchitis. My son is an asthmatic. He came in on Monday, and he has been absent since the rains came, because we were in the sun, and then the rains came in the afternoon. So I was the person who texted you. No, sir, I'm not against vaccination, because I'm always first in line to get my kids vaccinated. But you can see where I'm coming from with this right now, sir, with them and the comorbidity, because I myself am unvaccinated at the moment. My doctor now, who used to look about both my son and my daughter in our area, for some reason or the other, noticed that his office is closed. He's not here. I would want them to be fully examined and upon a doctor's advice, yes, move forward. So I have not done the form as yet for submission because I am waiting on medical advice. If he's not back by next week, sir, I'm going to use somebody else. But I really, because I'm so concerned, I am I just need medical advice moving forward.
I think you are taking the right approach. I think that's the correct approach, and you are doing exactly what needs to be done. All right, so I'll encourage you to do what you have said you want to do. That's the way I think you should go about it. All right.
Yes, sir. I will complete the forms and then I'll get back to you on.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Keisha. Keisha, you can unmute and go ahead.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
I have a ward, but she's not in the island. She won't be coming in until next week, Thursday. So if I should fill out the form, when would I get to vaccinate her? And she would be nearer to Black River Health Center.
All right, so put it on there for Black River. I will find out if they will be able to do the vaccines outside of the window that they now have. All right, so you can fill out the form and put it there.
Yes, sir.
With Black River.
Okay, thank you.
So all these questions that are being asked that I don't have the answers to, I will ask the questions later today and post them in the group. And when we have our other meeting this evening, we will answer those questions. All right. Diane, go ahead and sorry, Dan, go ahead and unmute.
Good morning again, Mr. Wellington. My question you might not be able to answer, but hopefully you'll be able to get an answer from me.
Sorry, I didn't get that question. Can you go again?
Right, I'm saying the question that I have, you might not be able to answer it, but hopefully you will be able to get an answer from me later on. If there is a parent who is unvaccinated but wishes to get the vaccine along with their child, could that parent get the vaccine?
Yes. We were told that if a parent takes a child or wants to be vaccinated as well, the parent will be allowed to get the vaccine at the same time.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay, good. Arden, you can unmute and go ahead.
My question is in the chat, sir.
All right. Is there a teacher in here who could read the questions for the chat? All right, I'll get to the chat questions after I have, Mr. Lewis, I'm going to ask you to read the questions for the chat for me after I have, let me see who's the last person. After J. Elliott, I'll ask that the questions from the chat be asked, right? Ms. Rogers, you can go ahead. Stuart, hello.
Good morning, everyone. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, madam. Yes, Ms. Rogers, you can go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. I am so exhausted. I'm tired. I'm overworked. We're overworked. Yes, I have taken my vaccine. As you all know, I work with the Ministry of Health, and we have been doing the vaccination campaign. As we speak at this moment, we are doing it. Yes, my son, Rayton Rogers, he'll be going to 11th grade September. He's a part of the track team, shot put and discus throw, and I will let him get his vaccine. That's my little. We're overworked, sir.
I know.
And for teachers, parents, please be reminded that it's the variant out there now. We are exhausted. We're overworked. So do your little bit. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ms. Rogers. Claudine. Claudine, you can go ahead.
Good morning, Mr. Wellington.
Good morning.
I joined the meeting late, sir. Question. I fill out the form for my son already. Do I wait on a call from them or do I take him to the health center? And which days should I take him?
All right, so I will post back in the group. When it is that that you should take. Where you live?
I live in Goshen.
Goshen, so that means you're going to come Santa Cruz, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so I'm working with the health department. So I will tell you later today. I will post when is it we want the STETHS student to go. They can start, he can go tomorrow, I think. But we're trying to organize so that we get the arrangement in place. We don't have to have all the students waiting for a long time before they get attended to. All right, but for the Santa Cruz ones, they can go tomorrow.
They can go tomorrow? I don't know what time it just starts.
No, but give me until this afternoon. I'll post in the respective groups. And remember, we have another meeting for those parents who couldn't make it today. We have another meeting later this afternoon. So I will share the information. All right?
Okay, so thanks much.
All right. Some persons are saying that they did not see the link for the form. I've posted it in the chat. So if you're not seeing the link, you can go in the chat and it's there. You can click on it to
it's in the message.
Sorry? Okay, J. Elliott.
Yes, good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Okay, I joined the meeting late, so probably I might have like missed a few things, but I have a few concerns as well as questions, right? For this vaccine, yeah, I understand the government saying that everyone should go and get vaccinated. However, I'm doing my research as well. Looking at peer review papers and these things. I'm a bit, I want to delay my actions in actually going forward, right? But I want to know if is there something in place for people or students who wish to delay it a bit more, just for to get more information, or probably they just want to delay the whole vaccination a bit more. Is there something in place for students in that regard?
Yeah, well, I think that so what they are doing now, they say they have gotten 200,000 plus vaccines, which obviously can't do everybody, right? So they are going to try and use up those 200,000, and then they will get more. So vaccination will continue. If everybody get up tomorrow morning and decide that they want to get the vaccine, they would not be able to vaccinate them, right? So inherently, there is the opportunity for you to not take it now and take it later, right? So you can make a choice that you don't want to be in the first batch, all right?
Okay.
But
go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Right. So it's just that we think that, well, some of us, that is, think that the first opportunity you get, you should take it, especially if you are comfortable with it, right? But inherently, there are going to be other opportunities. Right now, what is going to have the biggest disadvantage now for students will be that only the ones who get vaccinated in this first batch will return to school when school reopens for face-to-face.
I'm done before I go. So are you saying that there won't be no other way of providing any like online service for those
who are... Yeah, man, you'll have online classes. The persons who are not vaccinated will have online classes.
Okay, understood.
Yes.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Kimika, you can unmute and go ahead. All right, so we'll take the questions from the chat after Kimika has spoken. So Mr. Lewis, if you are still on, could you help me with the questions from the chat after Kimika? Yes, Kimika, go ahead.
Okay, good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone. I have a son that attends STETHS. He is currently at camp, but he has a comorbidity.
Yes.
What would I have to do? Would I have to get him to the doctor to find out if he can take the vaccine?
I think that would be the safest method. Who's your son, may I ask, or you don't want to say here?
Christopher Roy.
Oh, Christopher. Oh yeah, he told me, right?
Yes.
All right. So the safest thing would be to just check if he has a doctor, a particular doctor that he goes to. Just check in with the doctor and ask if he thinks it will be okay for him to take it. But again, revealing personal situation. My wife is diabetic, and she took it, right? So it's not to say if you have a comorbidity, you shouldn't take it. As a matter of fact, the recommendation is that if you have a comorbidity, you should take it because the comorbidity puts you at greater risk. But to be on the safe side, I would ask my doctor, is it okay for me to go ahead and take it, sir? All right? All right, Kimika, you muted yourself, so I hope that answered your question. All right. All right, questions from the chat. Mr. Lewis, you ready to help me or I need to go and read myself? So Lewis, put up your hand, let me mute you, unmute you. All right.
All right, sir. Good morning. I saw a question a while ago. Let me go to the question now. This question says, good morning, sir. If a child is recovering from flu, is it safe for he or she to take the vaccine?
All right. Again, I'm not a doctor, so I don't want to give an answer as if I'm certain. But if the child is not well, and especially if you're not sure if it is COVID, the child, and because remember, the child could have had mild symptoms, including flu, and therefore it is COVID, may have had COVID. If anyone has had COVID, the recommendation is that you should not take the vaccine until after a few weeks. So again, that is a situation where I would probably check with the doctor before allowing the child to take it. All right. So ask the person to check with their doctor before deciding whether or not to do so. All right.
Okay.
Yes, any other questions? It has not yet been answered.
All right. I'm not seeing any. I see a few, but they are medically related. So
all right, somebody said, my child, good morning, sir. My son is doing PE SPA, which requires practical training to execute a sport, but he's not vaccinated and will not be. Again, Arden, that is a choice that you make. All of us make choices, and as we normally say, even in normal circumstances, choices come with consequences. Right? So there's nothing I can do if the government says you can only participate in face-to-face activities if you are vaccinated and your child is not vaccinated, then I can't tell you that the child is allowed to go and do his exam.
sir, right? There's a follow-up question from that one. The parent also asked, will he still not be able to come on campus after 3? So I guess they're considering training and things like that.
No, obviously we will not.
Right.
We will not be allowing him. If the policy is that they should be vaccinated, then I'm not going to break the policy, especially when I'm supporting the policy. Will the 7th and 9th graders be able to take the vaccine? And if yes, what? Well, the 7th and 9th graders right now, they are not priority, but if they turn up and they are over 12 years old or 15, if they are 15, they will be allowed to take it. All right, so right now it is not for 7th and 9th graders. All right. Good morning, sir. If we don't have our school ID, remember the student doesn't need to have the ID now. It is the parents who must have the ID with the birth certificate of the child for them to go ahead and take the vaccine. All right, so the parents, if the child is under 18, he or she must be accompanied by a parent with the ID of the parent, the government ID of the parent, and the birth certificate of the child. All right.
Somebody's asking about the form that is to be filled out. Is that the link that you sent a while ago, sir?
Yes, that's the link I sent.
Okay. So the link is right there. You can access it for the person who is asking.
This question, if your son is fully vaccinated, will be this question for Mr. Willie. Good morning, everyone. Is your son fully vaccinated or will be? All right, so my son is not fully vaccinated. He's 11 years old. He's 11 years old, so although he's going into second form, he won't be 12 until next year, May. So he's not allowed, but he actually asked me, Daddy, are you not going to allow me to take the vaccine? All right, so my son actually wants to take the vaccine because everybody in our family, here and abroad, 4 different countries, everybody has taken the vaccine. And we have, my sister lives in New York, so she would have seen what has happened. I have another sister in London, so we know what is happening. All right. Will dates be changed because of no movements there? No, and the dates will not be changed for the vaccines. So it is still the vaccines will be done Saturday, Monday, Tuesday. There are some centers, I think I sent the list of the days that they will be done. But parents, you're allowed to be on the road with your child to take the vaccine if you're even on the no movement day. What I'm planning to do is that for the Santa Cruz Health Center, depending on how many persons sign up, we may allow the STETHS bus to go to the different communities to take the students to the Santa Cruz Health Center, right? For the others, the centers will be near to your home, so you shouldn't have much difficulty getting to those centers because we have health centers right across the parish that will be doing it on various days. So I've already sent out that information. You can look at it to see which day the vaccination will be done at the health center closest to you, all right?
Somebody's asking if the child should take their TRN.
No, they don't have to. They haven't been asked to take it. Let me just rush back to those questions on the chat now. Danisha, not on the chat, and with your hands raised. Danisha, can you go ahead?
Good morning. You're saying that my child cannot go to school face-to-face unless he's been vaccinated, right?
Yes.
Saying that when it's time for CXC, are you also saying that he will not be able to do his CXC face-to-face if he's still not vaccinated?
Well, I don't know because I'm not the one making the rules. I don't know. That has not been said at the moment. It has not
because
been said.
my son has sickle cell, and I'm very scared of him being vaccinated. So it's like a challenge for me right now.
And again, I wouldn't encourage you to get him vaccinated unless it is that the doctor says that that is the better option. So again, we're not using our broad brush to paint everybody while we are generalizing, because there are situations that obviously has to be different. So I would say to you that the first thing is that don't rush to get him the vaccine unless your doctor says so. Right, that's one. And two, as it relates to the exam, obviously, if there are persons who cannot be vaccinated, right, the government would have to make provisions, for example, to let them sit in a room by themselves and do the exam. But they can't do that for 50,000 persons.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. I was just wondering, I know takes the exam is a bit away, but
right.
I'm just wondering, knowing that this is the thing about face-to-face without being vaccinated. So I was just wondering about that, Mr. Wellington.
Okay, no, but it's a good concern. But as I said, don't do anything without the advice of your doctor.
All right, thank you, sir.
Good.
All right, sir, there's one here. Somebody who lives in Malvern is saying that they'll have a difficulty getting around on the no movement day.
All right, so the Malvern persons, I would suggest all the persons who are far out come to do the vaccination on Saturday, because Saturday you are able to move around freely. And Santa Cruz, the health center at Santa Cruz is designated as the center for STETHS. So if you know that it's going to be difficult, you do it on Saturday. But as well, as I said before, I'm going to make arrangements. If we have large numbers in different communities, I will make arrangements for the STETHS bus to probably go into the communities to take these people out. All right. Murian, you can unmute and go ahead, yes?
Yes, sir. I would form instead, but she's 18, and she's wondering if she's 18 and she don't have a valid ID, which ID can she take? The STETHS ID, or her mom would have to take her?
She can use the STETHS ID, and if she fill out the form, it means that I'll be sending the name to the ministry, to the health department, so her name would be there as a STETHS student.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
All right, good. Xavier.
Yes, sir. Good morning. Xavier is actually in a camp. Magati Health Center is closest to us.
Right.
So we could
What
have
about
asked one, or we would have to
Eldersley?
come.
What about Eldersley?
Yeah.
Eldersley.
Any of the two is
Right.
any of the two would be much easier.
Right. Okay. So just fill out the form. Just fill out the form so that I have the information.
All right, sir. Thanks.
Okay, good. Jador.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Morning. My daughter, she was COVID positive 2 weeks ago, and it was recommended that she wait 3 months before she get vaccinated. Would she be allowed to do face-to-face?
All right, that's another question that I will ask. And again, like Monica asked earlier, if she had COVID, that means she probably has the antibodies. So that's a question that I'll get the answer to later today.
Okay, thanks, sir.
All right, great. Yeah. All right, think we have answered all the questions and we have gone almost 1 hour. And seeing that I'll have another meeting this afternoon, I am going to call this meeting to an end. And I will remember I'll be posting the recording so you can go back to hear some of the discussion that we had, right? So thank you very much. I don't think, is there any other burning question that needs answering before we end this meeting? Any burning questions? All right, no. All right, so let me thank you very much, parents. I really appreciate all the questions, all the concerns, all the comments, because I think what you have done is to enlighten some of us. There are some persons who may not have been certain, who are a little bit more certain, some may still be uncertain. But you have enlightened us and you have contributed to the discussion. And I want to ask that we continue this discussion, try and help each other to make a decision that is going to be in the best interest, first and foremost, of the child and his or her family, and then of course, obviously, in the interest of the country as well. Diana has her hand up, so let me just ask Diana to unmute. All right, Diana, you can unmute and go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Wellington, sorry about that late raising of the hand. My 2 questions have nothing to do with COVID. One of the books that the grade 9 students are supposed to get, the Anansi book, I've been having challenges sourcing it in Santa Cruz. And the next question regarding
Have you checked if we have it at STETHS?
Not as yet, because I was waiting until when we came for registration.
Okay, what's the name of the book?
Anansi.
Anansi, all right. We more than likely will have it. If we don't have it now, we'll probably get it.
And regarding the fair, sir, hopefully we'll be able to hear something before school reopens.
The fear?
Yes, sir.
What fear? You mean fear of?
No, it's the bus fares. Sorry, bus
fares. Okay. Yeah, man. No, definitely. We are going to organize it. We're going to have it organized, man. So we'll have meetings and so on before, so that we can share the information.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, my dear. And while we close, just before we close, encouraging again parents to fill out the form. Whether or not you're going to take it, I'm encouraging you to fill out the form so we have a sense of where we are. I think we are up to 90 persons now who have filled it out. Grades 10 to 6th form, we have approximately 800 plus students. All right, so I want the responses from everybody. All right, so just ask everyone to fill out the form for us, please. Thank you. And have a good day, everyone. Those who missed the meeting, you can tell them that we meet again and have this discussion at 6:30 this evening. Tahina, why? This is the last one. I'm going to go back to Ms. Dyer, but please, I won't respond to any other raised hand after this, right? Go ahead, this is Tahina. Tahina, you can unmute and go ahead. Diana, you're not unmuting. So I assume that you really don't want to speak. All right, so thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much, everyone. Selena, why? All right, thank you very much. Have a good day, everyone.